Hello YouTube and hello 9th Age community. This is Charles with Evershade Gaming and I'm bringing you another 9th Age battle report. This is round 3 of Strength in Numbers, Team Salty Bitches facing off against the Goonies. So let's look at how those matchups went. So they had an Orcs and Goblin player, then an Orc and Goblin player, then a Sword and Ancient player, and then an EoS player. Now, in this matchup, our Beast Herd player was probably one of the ones we were most concerned about. And I think maybe our Harbor Elf player too. There's just like some really good matchups for those two lists. So we actually put the Harbor Elf player forward. And they put their EoS player forward, which was good actually, because one of the matchups we wanted was the EoS against the Beast Herds. So then we decided that, or I decided actually, because I was the captain. I decided that it was going to be Orcs and Goblins and Beast Herds that we were going to put up against the EoS list. And they would have to choose from those. And then they gave us their Orcs and Goblins and their Sword and Ancients. And that just meant that our ID list was held back in reserve. And that the Orc Kingdom's list was held back in reserve. So all around, these were really good matchups. The OnG list, it was kind of like, honestly, it looks a lot like James Silva's list. There's some minor tweaks. But our ID list has enough shooting to take care of that, to counter that shooting. The Sword and Ancient list had like an Alpha counter sword and like a big block of like Skinks and Crocs. So like the Highbrow player, like he just had the spear that could take out the monsters. He had the Phoenixes do a flyover. So that was a great matchup. The Beast Herds against the Ogre Kingdoms, that was like, I was a little bit worried about that actually, because he had like Rock and he had like some like pistol, some man-eaters like pistols, and they're accurate and they poison. So I was a little bit concerned about that. That was probably our worst matchup. And then I get to fight an EoS player, Empire of Sonnstahl. I kind of love playing Empire of Sonnstahl because I play it personally, so I feel like I know how to kind of play against Empire of Sonnstahl. But let's look at the list. I thought this was a really good matchup for me. So he's got a Prelate as his general, and the Prelate has a 1-up and then the Crown of Aristocracy. I really like that build. I feel like that's how I want to run my general from now on. And then he's got a Marshal with a 2-up, 5-up. He has a great weapon, so that's pretty good. I mean, the Strength 6 attacks are nice. He's still got a good save, so I mean, that's not too bad of a build. And then he's got an Artificer, which is interesting with the Ring of Fire. And he's got a 4-spell Pyromancy Wizard Master. Wizard also has the Talisman of Supreme Shielding. I thought that's kind of weird. I feel like if something gets in your Wizard, they're just going to kill it regardless if he has a 4-up. And then he's got 4 units of Electoral Cav, which I didn't like though, because I don't have... 1-ups are tough for me. And then 2 units of 20 Spearmen as like detachments. Then he's got a big block of Imperial Guard, 40 Imperial Guard. They are running Sword and Board, though. When I saw that they're running Sword and Board, I was kind of like, they really shouldn't give me too much shot. Obviously, if they get like my Goblins, you'll kill Goblins really quickly. But now, if my monsters get in there, they just can't kill him. They just can't beat him, even if he gets like rules wounds off. You're counting on 6s, and you're only Strength 4. So they do have the Stalker Center, so that's a little scary. Then he has 2 mortars and a volley gun. I thought this was really interesting. Yeah, I'm thinking this guy was like they put this list together to get like into like to be anti-block list stuff like that, because that's what the mortar's going to do. And then he just has a little bit of chaff and an Arcane Altar. So great list though. I really liked it. We had for deployment in Circle, I picked up Defender again because I won the roll off, and our objective is Breakthrough. So on my left flank, I've got a Wolf Chariot, my 7 Boar Boys, and then a Bolt Thrower, one of my Spiders, another Bolt Thrower, and then a unit of 5 Wolf Raiders, kind of all smushed into that corner. And then this is starting to look more at my center. I've got a unit of 30 Cave Goblins, my General on the Chariot, he's kind of right in the middle of everything, another Bolt Thrower, and then you can see the 20 Common Goblins with my BSB in it. And then looking at the other side of those 20 Common Goblins, I have my Shaman behind a wall right there, another 30 Cave Goblins, a unit of 5 Goblin Raiders, another Bolt Thrower kind of behind the building, and then finishing out my right flank is my Green Spider, and another Wolf Chariot. So let's look at his deployment. On my right side of the board, he has 2 units of Electoral Cav. It looks like his 2 5-man units, and then he's got his volley gun over there. And I dropped a lot to go first, so he actually got to counter my deployment. So he put his volley gun over there to try and kill the spider, and then he's got a mortar, and then you can just see his wizard in the front of that 20 block of spears, and then to the other side of those spears, on the center/left side of the board, he has his all of his Imperial Guard are holding the center, and he's got his prelate in there and his marshal, and then that's actually him vanguarding his riders forward. Behind the riders, where his state merger is, there's another unit of 20 spearmen. He's got another mortar behind that, and behind a unit of 6 electoral cav, and then another unit of 6 electoral cav. Actually looks like 5 electoral cav. I thought he had more units of 6. Maybe he didn't have the models in this game? I'm not sure. Anyway, but and then you can see he's got his 5 archers in the force. So yeah, that's deployment. So we're gonna get into, or actually let's talk about vanguards. He vanguarded there, and then which was fine because he was so close to my archers. I didn't really do anything with my vanguards. Orcs and Goblins, turn 1. Actually, I did vanguard my wolves for it because I knew I'd turn 1, so I vanguarded forward enough that I could, get behind units and stuff like that, trying to threaten those mortars. I move up pretty aggressively, I feel like, on this. Or not super aggressively, because we've both got things I can charge pretty far. The spider I'm pretty aggressive with because I'm not really worried about taking a charge from those knights. I think I still win that. Yeah, and then on their side, my whole center does move up. My Shaman, I'm actually really aggressive with. I'm not really worried about the mortars. The volley gun can't see me, so I don't know. Yeah, I'm just not really worried about those mortars or his own pyromancy magic. It's unlikely that even between the mortars and the pyromancy magic that he would kill my Shaman, so I'm not too worried about it. And honestly, I mean, like, my hordes are so juicy for the mortars. I feel like it's hard to pass up. Yeah, I don't know. And I don't really think magic does anything in the shooting phase. We kill 4 riders, but he passes his panic check. He was just within 12 inches. He actually failed it, and he passed on the reroll. In the shooting phase, we put 3 wounds on the Arcane engine between the different bolt throwers, and we do a couple wounds to this block here, and then we kill 1 archer with the spider. Just kind of really lucky shot. And that's about it. And then going into EoS turn 1, he starts to try and chaff some of the things, and he moves forward with his knights in some places. In the magic phase, he casts Immolation in the middle. I'm not too worried about it. And then this was unfortunate. He shot at my wolves. He shot at both units of wolves with like different things, and he only could do 1 wound to each one. And then his volley gun misfires. He uses the reroll to just suffer 1 wound. I think he would have suffered the 2, or not be able to shoot for 2 rounds. So I was like, whatever, that's fine. All in all, very weak EoS turn 1, unfortunately. Orcs and Goblins turn 2. I charged the knights. Actually, those knights failed to charge against my spider. I think he needed it was like 6 inches away, so he needed like a 9, might even been a 10 or something like that. So I countercharge, and then on this side I charge over here too. I charge the spider and the knights. That was probably like a 15-inch charge, so I only needed an 8. And I was debating about going right for the volley gun, but I was like, I'll just put the wolves in there. Honestly, the wolves probably take care of it. And then this is how the board looks. So it's interesting. Those archers that are in the forest, they turn around to shoot at my my goblin raiders. They only did 1 wound. They passed their terror test, which I thought was kind of funny. And then, which is okay because if I kill them, I have a good chance to get a good overrun. My center moves up to keep doing more shooting. I move that 1 goblin's way close to those knights. I'm gonna release my Mad Gits. Those guys just try and smoke them like that. In the magic phase, I kill some of the Imperial Guard, and then in the shooting phase, I release the Mad Gits, smoke the knights, and then close combat, I have no problem. Actually, the wolves have no problem killing the volley gun, which I was really happy about. He didn't even do a wound to me. I go into the Knights. I lose a wound there. The Spider does, I think, a couple wounds, and then the Wolves don't do anything, but we've got like that flank. He doesn't have rank. It's like he loses by like 3 or 4, and he flees off the table. I had to use the Spiders to take him off, or the Wolves to take him off, and then I turned the Spider around. In the other combat, the Spider has no problem crushing those Archers, and then I overrun into the flank of this Knight unit. That Knight unit turned around to face the Wolves. So now they're just a really bad spot because the Spider is going to eat them up. And then this combat, oh man, I go in with all this Strength 5. You know, I get like 4 or 5 impact hits, no wounds there. The Orcs do a few wounds, but no wounds there. And he does 2 wounds just with all his Strength 3. And I actually lose combat, but I hold with both. Or it might have been a tie combat, it might have been a push. But either way, it was kind of like, whew, that's not good. And then EoS turn 2, doesn't really have much movement to do. He kind of moves as engineer, but like that guy's kind of caught. Yeah, he's not really committing with his blocks just yet. Yeah, I don't know. I think he actually does. He might start moving. This might have been at the very start of his turn before he really got anything. In the magic phase, he's really bad magic phase. He fails to cast Flaming Swords, but he does get one of the prayers up. Yeah, he does march forward. That's right. And then he hits this Goblin unit with a mortar, and he smokes like half the unit. So that was good for him. Yeah, quite a bit there. That's what mortars do, though. And then in close combat, I lose like another Orc, and I think we lose by 1 here. And the Orcs flee, and the Chariot flees. So what can you do? They just, he just made all. Like he just made a ton of 3-up armor saves, which is pretty much what he's doing is only making 3-up armor. I mean, like that's like the name of the game is like can he make 3-ups because that's the Spiders are only Strength 5 too, and the Spiders have been kicking ass this game, so it's fair for him to kind of make it because the Knights over there get killed by that Spider. Started Orcs and Goblins turn 3. So this red Spider killed Knights that were kind of like in that small block of 6. He turned around, and then I went after this unit of Knights that beat my Boar Riders. I kind of wanted the Boar Rider. I needed the Boar Riders to get the breakthrough objective, and I did not want those Knights to keep running around. I mean, I had all those bolt throwers, but I was worried that the Spider didn't go over there and take care of it, that he was just going to keep running around. So they actually failed a terror test, and then the Spider caught them and then reformed. So that was all really nice. Goblins go into a mortar, hopefully going to take that mortar out. And then this is so bad. This is so funny and so bad at the same time. So I'm like, you know what? He got kind of close. I was like, I don't want to wait for him to charge something. I was like, I'm just gonna go for it. So I'm like, I'm charging with my general. He's like, I'm gonna hold. I'm charging with my shaman. I'm gonna hold. He's like, do you have any more charges? I'm like, nope, that's it. I'm like, eat these boar chariots. And he's like, okay, this unit's gonna countercharge, and this unit's gonna countercharge. And I was like, oh my god. I just fell for the trap. Like this is what EoS should be doing in all games, but I feel like it never happens. Like who uses detachments, right? So like I just walked into it. That's the worst part. I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna put these chariot characters in there, and like I'm gonna get a bunch of impact hits, and I'm just gonna keep like challenging, and I'm just gonna keep mopping them up because nothing can kill this warlord. And yep. So okay. In the shooting phase, I released my Mad Gits, and I'm actually, well, I moved close enough that I was able to get a good like arc for both of them to not hit my general, and they both hit both units of the Imperial Guard and the detachment, and they do a bunch of wounds each. So that was really helpful, at least, trying to break some of these ranks. My wolves kill one of the mortars, which was awesome. And then on the other side, I had the Spider, the Wolf Chariot, and the Wolves. I think the Wolves and the Wolf Chariot tried to charge the mortar. They had like long charges. I was like, whatever. They failed. It's okay. The Spider just moved forward because I want him to get in the center, get into combat, help me out there because I'm an idiot. And then, so this is how the end of the combat phase looks. So I challenged with my Shaman, and I beat the champion because I got like impact hits, got a decent amount of attacks. And then my Warlord just whoops up on the unit next to him. And he also does impact hits on the front, kills a few. And we win combat like 1 or 2, which is really good for how that looks. And then we have EoS turn 3. he has really nothing to do movement-wise. He's got that one mortar left, and then all his other blocks are engaged. So it's pretty much just, yeah. I think he shoots the mortar. He might kill some goblins. It's either this turn or the next turn or something like that. And then into the magic phase, I think he whiffs again, unfortunately. I think he fails to do a big bubble flaming sword, and then I'm able to stop his prayers. And then in magic, or then combat, we do a decent amount of wounds through the unit to the left of my general, but not enough, and we actually lose combat by 4. My general sticks, which was awesome, but the shaman flees. The shaman gets run down by the unit. So fortunately, the shaman couldn't get away, but the unit goes in the flank. So on my turn 4, now the goblins are coming in. So now we've got goblins in the rear of some spearmen, another unit of goblins in the rear of spearmen, and my general's still in the thick of it all, loving life. This is like the best day of his life. And then we still got the big block of Imperial Guard. That's pretty much it. I don't have any more magic, which I think sorry. This tournament I did a really bad job of not taking pictures of my magic cards. I don't know why. I think the game it most mattered, which was game 4. I did take pictures of my magic cards to show what spells you had. But I think I didn't. I don't even think I had Flaming Swords, so it probably didn't really matter. I think I just had damage spells this game. My spider failed to charge on my turn 4, which was unfortunate. That really would have helped. And then this spider just starts trying to position around. Those boars are about to begin the scoring. The wolves get into the mortar, so that's good too. And then this is how after combat looks. So we do more wounds to that small spearman unit. I think my general issues a challenge, and I make the BSB decline, and then I actually whoop up on his wizard because I'm like, let me just get rid of this wizard. He's got a 4, but I mean, he's gonna die pretty easily. He does get flaming swords off. In this really blurry picture, that his wizard's up in the top corner. He died to my warlord or something. And I think I actually issued another challenge, and he accepted it this time with the wizard, so that, he was going to die. I did 2 wounds to him last time, so he's like, he's going to die this time, so I'll accept the challenge. Yeah. And then this is how after combat looks. So we're still whooping up on that one spearman unit. Even when my warlord's not in a challenge, he just cannot put wounds on this guy because he's only strength 4. I mean, he's got some strength 6 attacks, but they're either like not hitting or they're like not wounding, because I've just got bluffers. It's really cheap. And then pretty much this is just how we leave. This is how the game ends basically. We get that last mortar, but then we're just kind of stuck in combat. I actually stop attacking the spearmen with my warlord because I need all that combat res that the goblins are generating, because they've got like a rank, they've got a BSB, they got a rear, they've got a big rear, and they're generating like 6 combat res. His front generates like 4 or 5 combat res. So actually, he's like, it was very convenient that the goblins couldn't kill that last spearman because it helped out significantly. And then my general just started killing Imperial Guard. This was a really fun game, but it was just like such a weird game too, because I feel like I made a huge mistake. Which is so funny. As a EoS player, I just did not even see it. I didn't even think about it. We end up stuck in the middle there, and that's how the game ends. So I get a victory here. I get a 19-1 victory. I had the objective. The boars were just able to the last turn, just able to get within range of his deployment zone. They didn't even have to march, so I didn't have to risk the DTs in the forest. The spiders did so well this game. Which I feel like against knights, I feel like they have a good matchup, even though they can't stomp. They just have so many attacks that I feel like enough's going to get through. They can't really do, if they don't charge the spider, they can't really do any wounds. Yeah, so the spiders just did really well on the flanks, and then I just didn't leave enough time for them to get enough shooting in, before we got into combat, and then we just got stuck in combat. So, so that goes really well. For me, this game went really well. But let's look at how Team Salty did. So if you remember, Team Salty had a Beaster player against the Ogres, and he did great. He absolutely did way better than I thought he was going to. Not that he should do bad. I mean, it was kind of like it was like a 50-50 chance. I feel like who's going to win. It really came down to like maybe some good positioning, maybe some really clutch charges or something like that. But the Beast third player, he killed it. He got 18-2. Love him. Dino, you're beautiful. Love you. Then we got our Infernal player, Orc and Goblin. This game was going on next to me, and it looked like really close. I was actually surprised how many points my our Infernal player got. He got 15 points, which was a solid win. And then the last game to finish was the Hybrid Elf player against the Sorin Ancients, and he had, I think he said he just kind of was, I think he was saying, like, not that he was trying to, like, soft play him or, like, trying to give the game away. I think he was trying to make it fun, and, like, just a couple, like, he said he made a couple bad moves or something like that, and he just, he got the small loss. But the 9 points is great, because with my 19 win, we actually end up capping, and we get a 60 points, which is awesome. So the Salty Bitches are 2-1 on day one, 2 big wins, 1 small loss. So they're looking a good place. I think we ended the day, we're still in second place. The team that beat us, they crushed this round too. So yeah, so now Team Salty is going to unwind and celebrate a good day worth of gaming.
Getting a little wild.
Quality in.